let's get started because I'm going to make this quick and easy. First, you're going to go to your drawing tools over here, and you're going to take this square. You're going to make a square. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to right click and go to duplicate. We duplicate it, and then we shrink this one down and make it just a tad bit smaller than the other. Now we hold shift, select both, then we come up here to the top, select the middle align, and then select align middle that way. Okay, now we're gonna drag our mouse to select both of them again because I clicked off of it. Right click and make compound path. When you make the compound path, now you are able to fill in these lines. So now I'm going to go here and I'm going to pick black. That way we can see it better. I have my grid on because usually I put my grid on because each big square is an inch, and that tells me how large my design is. You always want to make sure that you have your page set up first. This one's set up to use a mat. Here's your cutting mat, auto, cameo mat, and 12 by 12. Now if I was making this a sublimation design, what I would want to do is I would want to go to letter, and I would want to keep the design within the size of the page, or I could make the design bigger and split the design, but I'll have to show you that in another video. Alright, so we're going to go to auto 12 by 12, and we can make this square as big or as small as we want. We're going to go ahead and we're going to duplicate it again. And when we duplicate it again, I'm going to take the green dot up here and I'm going to turn it slightly and then move it over some. And this is going to give you that cool framed effect. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to group it together. I'm going to hit the right click and I'm going to select weld. And what that did was it made your whole thing weld together. So now this is just one frame. Alright, now I want to add a little flower right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google and I go to clipart library. Now usually you can take, it's for personal use, it's free for personal use. You can take and you can go down here and you can download it as a PNG. But I like to right click and copy in an image because I don't like to save a lot of stuff on my computer. I come back over here and I paste it in here. Let me hit the undo because I don't know why I just dragged that like that. Alright, now I'm going to make it bigger so that I can see what I'm doing. Alright, I want to take this and I want to click on it, and I'm going to open my trace tool. Well, you don't have to click on it. Open your trace tool and trace over the whole thing. When I trace it, everything that's yellow is what's going to trace. So we want to increase the yellow until we get everything that we want to trace. Alright, now I'm going to select trace. Now I'm going to move that out of the way and actually delete it. I'm going to take my eraser and erase that little extra spot that I have right there. By erasing that spot, what that did was that released the compound path to where you see these spots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the undo button from where I drug the flower, and I'm going to select it all, and I'm going to make compound path because we want this to be a compound path. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to color it in black. The red is your cut lines. The red is showing you where your machine will cut. So we're going to take and we're going to make this smaller, and then I want to duplicate it because I want to put one here and one here. Or I don't know, maybe we'll do just down here. I don't know. Let me look at it. I didn't have this design prepared. We'll just do one. Okay, because I like just doing one. Alright, now we'll take this and then we'll weld it again. And whenever we weld it, what we're doing is we're just welding our flower here to the frame. That way, if I move the design, if I decide, well, I want to change it to where the flower's on the side or on the top, I can just simply do that by spinning the frame. Okay, and now we are going to continue with our design. You're going to take and you can close your color panel, or whenever you switch between panels, the panel that you had open before will automatically close. So what I want to do now is find a pretty neat little font, and I think I'm going to go with Belladonna. I get most of my fonts from defont.com and 1001fonts.com. So what I did there was I picked my font and I picked the color that I want my font, and now I'm going to get my cursor and click my cursor down where I want it, and we're going to put never forget how wildly capable you are. Okay, and now let's see, I want to take that how and put it down on a lower line, and let's back the wildly up space, and we'll just put capable on its own line, and take all of this and center it. Now if we wanted this in a bunch of different fonts or whatever, we could take and we could double click there, and we could change any of it by highlighting it and coming over here to our fonts and clicking a different font. So this will give you the ability to change your stuff around if you wanted something to be different. If you want it all the same, you can leave it all the same. If you want to change it all at one time, you can do that. Now if you want to see what it looks like without the cut lines, all you would do is you would highlight it all, go up here and take the cut lines off, and I can take the grid lines. This right here is your grid lines. You can take the grid line off to see your design without the grid, or you can show the grid. When you're showing the grid, it's just to let you see how many inches you're working with or whatever for your design. So there you go. There is a simple design. Now to cut this, all you would do is I'm going to group it, and then you're going to flip horizontally because that mirrors it. Now if we wanted to cut this by line, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ungroup, because I want to select this and I want the cut lines for that to be purple, and I'll select this and I want the cut lines for that to be black. And then when we go to cut this, when we go to the send screen, we will pick to cut by line. And if I was doing this in heat transfer vinyl, then you do the heat transfer smooth. You just go down here and you find whatever material you're using, heat transfer smooth, and then you would add a pause, and it would cut your black, and then you could unload your matte and load your purple and hit resume and cut your purple, and you would have that on the heat transfer smooth too. Now on mine personally, the vinyl I use, I have to bring my force up to 8 on each of them, because that gives me a cleaner cut and easier weeding. This is your blade, and if you need to cut deeper, you turn your blade up and down. This right here is overcut. If I was to check this right here, it would cut just past my cut to give it a cleaner cut. This right here is your force. This is how hard your blade presses down This is your speed. This is the speed in which the blade moves. So if you don't want something ripped or torn, you would slow down your speed. Passes is how many times your blade makes that same cut. And if you go to simple, whenever you go to simple, you want to make sure that you select cut, because if you do cut edge, it's not going to cut the center of your circles or zeros or whatever. It's just going to cut the edge of your words. The middle of your letters will not cut. Okay, so now I'm going to click design and go back to design. I'm going to flip it back horizontally so that you can see what I'm talking about. Right here is your fill in color. This is going to fill in the color of your words, your design, your picture, whatever you do. If you were to take and you were to draw a square, that fills in that square. If you don't want that square filled in, you take and you click the square, and then you click right there, and that takes the color out of your square. This right here is your cut lines. You would change the color of your cut lines by this, and this is how you cut by color. Okay, you can do several colors, and you can put a pause in between each color, but that's what that's for. Now your page setup right here, if I wanted to print this out as a picture, then I could do my media size to letter, and this is going to show me how big a piece of paper is. And then I will take my design and I will shrink my design down, and whenever I shrink my design down and I click print up here, this is going to show me what a print would look like. This is my print preview, so I could sublimate this image if I was doing sublimation designs. Now, if I decided to save this as a PDF, I could also hit print on here, and whenever I hit print, I could go up here and Microsoft Print to PDF, click that, and I could save it, and that saves it as the photo on your computer. We'll just click cancel right now. So that is how to make your own design. You are capable of doing so much with this software. You don't have to buy the simple Etsy designs that you see on Etsy, because you can do it yourself. It's real easy.